Alors nous sommes maintenant avec Alessandro Tutino qui va nous présenter le Demon Share 12 ans, un rhum du Panama. Welcome Alessandro.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. I was very relieved to be able to do it in English because my French is a bit, is not that on par. I can manage it, but being recorded and everything. When I heard it might be in French, I was starting to sweat. But I was very relieved. So thank you very much for having me, and it's a pleasure. And well, we are an Italian company. The company producing the Demon Share is called Savio. And we are an Italian company located in Star Valley. Here are my beautiful Demon Share 12 years. And whenever I say to someone that we are an Italian company producing Panamanian rum, more than that, we are located in Star Valley, which is a beautiful mountain region famous for its skiing resorts and its hiking paths. People start to be a bit confused. Say, Panamanian rum in El Salvador. We don't have any sugarcane cultures. So we don't have that, but we import, of course, the rum from Panama, and we bottle it and produce it in Italy. So the origin is still Panama because the rum doesn't undergo any substantial transformation in Italy. But all the controls and the bottling and labeling is all done in Italy. And actually, it's the company is quite old. It was founded in 1958. By Mr. Paulino Savio, and it started as which, by the way, Paulino Savio is still working, is still the head of the company, is still much lively and energetic, still in his office ordering around people. So it's quite the man. And it started as a coffee roasting company and started to operate a bit with Central and South America, of course, to obtain the coffee. Then started to produce as well sugar and some traditional Italian liqueurs like Genepi and Grappa, which are traditional, especially from the region. And then after around 30 years, Mr. Paulino was joined by Mr. Marco Savio, which is our current CEO. And he started, while working a lot with Central and South America, he started to become quite fond of rum, of course. And so he started to be interested. And since the company already had some experience in producing some spirits and that sort of products, the family of products, he started to study how to produce rum. He studied with some maestros cantineros in Panama, in Guatemala, in Cuba as well, and from there they decided to start producing rum as well. And so the first brands that were launched were Malecon and Malteco, which are like proper serious rum, 20-25 years old rum. We have the millésime, we have all sorts of different assortments, and they were and are very successful. They are still like the flagships of the company. They are distributed all over the world, and they're going very well. But at the same time, in around 2018, 2019, Mr. Savio realized that the market was changing a bit, because a bit up until that moment, not exactly 2019, but that decade, rum had been mostly either something very much for experts, for the rum connoisseurs. So you actually could sell the 25 years old rum to someone that actually love the taste, or something very cheap. So you had the white rum, the gold rum to use for cocktails. But there was nothing that youngsters could drink to start and love rum, because if you start drinking rum from a 20 years old rum, it's difficult. I remember the first time I tasted it when I started to work for a company, and I was quite ignorant of alcohol in general, and it was an interesting experience. I think it's very much an acquired taste. It's something that you develop with time, and so it's difficult to start with that. But at the same time, if you only drink rum in cocktails and very cheap rum, you never get to actually develop that sort of taste. And so he decided to develop something that was a bit more of like a spiced rum in the strict sense speaking, and which was sweet and easy to drink, but still a rum. And if you want, I can share my screen. I do have a presentation, if it's okay for you. Just to give you some images.
Yes, perfect.
I don't think I can share my screen. I think there are some settings that prevent me to. If you can change it later, I don't know. If you, otherwise, I can go as you prefer. But it's nothing to worry. And apologies again. Okay, perfect. I can. Okay, here it is. Here it is. And so basically we started to think a lot. Well, Mr. Savio started to develop this product, and he looked for a product that was younger than the ones belonging to our main family, Malecon and Malteco, but at the same time, something sweeter and easier to drink. And so he developed the Dimonshare. The first Dimonshare was launched in September 2019, which, in hindsight, given that it was like 3 months before the pandemic, it was a bold move. We couldn't have known, and we were very surprised because, despite the fact that due to the pandemic, we didn't have any fairs, any events, any tastings, nothing.
And the bars were closed too.
Yeah, so literally there were only people that were going to drink at their places, which it's a peculiar segment of the market. Still, despite that, in the first year, the Dimonshare sold for €1,400,000, which once again, for a new brand, was quite a success. And then we started to expand our market. And last year we were distributed in almost 20 countries, in 18 countries, and we sold for more than €2 million. And as you see, the aesthetic of the Dimonshare is very pleasant, very graphically attractive. Let's say it was designed by Classens, which is one of the best, in my opinion, design studios in London for spirits labels. And we all know that it's very important to have a very good product, but at the same time, it's also very important to have a beautiful label and a beautiful packaging, because when people go to the supermarkets, they have to all to the shops, they don't know what's inside the bottle, and you need to catch your attention. And I must say that whenever we go to a fair, we always have lots of people coming to our stand, taking pictures of the bottles, of the tubes, because they look very nice, they're very beautifully crafted, and I think that's quite a lot. And so in 2019, we launched the Dimonshare 6 years old, which is the one that you can see in the picture, which at the time was a rum. Then, as you know, in 2021, last year, in May 2021, the European Union launched a new regulation, which said that basically if a rum had more than 20 grams of sugar per liter, it was to be labeled as a spirit. And, we were faced with that decision to choose between changing the recipe or changing the label. And some other brands decided to change the recipe, but our clients loved the recipe. We were selling very well. We felt that it was more important to have satisfied customers than just have the label saying rum, because it's more important for us, our customers, than our ego. And so we decided for the 6 years old, to keep the recipe the same. In fact, you can see that in the bottle here in the picture, it's called Rhum Premium de Panama, because it was a bottle of before the regulation. Exactly. And now it's Spirit of Panama, as you can see here, Premium Spirit of Panama. And so we decided to leave the 6 as a rum-based spirit drink, and then to develop instead the 12 years old as a rum. So not a spice rum, a proper rum. And so that every person can have what they want. And, the idea of the Dimonshare in general was to have a product to make people acquainted with rum, to have them start to drink. And so the 6 years old is very sweet, very easy to drink. Everyone tells us, whenever we go to a fair, people taste it and say, this is like the gâteau that my grandmother used to make, because it has some caramel, some orange zest, some vanilla, and so it's very easy to drink, very sweet, and it's a good way to start. It's very easy to go and drink a few glasses or half a bottle without realizing it, because it's very easy to drink. It has 40 degrees, but still it goes down very smoothly, which is definitely a positive. And on the other hand, we have the 12 years old, which is the serious one of the two. Let's say it's our highest product. Let's say exactly
this one.
I'm also going to pour myself a glass. I don't want you to drink alone. So, so yes, and it is I think these are actually, later I will present these glasses, are quite interesting. And yes, it's, as you can feel, this is a proper rum. It's not a spirit drink. It's not. It has no added sugar. It has just a tiny bit of caramel just to stabilize the color, but no other sugar for.
There's no other sugar at all.
Only for the color, because on the shelf people don't want to have different colors. But apart from that, nothing. So that's a proper rum, and you can really feel that you can feel the wood. It's aged in ex-American bourbon barrels, so you can. You can feel a bit of the wood, a bit of a smoky flavor in the nose, and you can really see the difference. I think you have tasted already the 6, but the difference is that in the 6, of course, is more difficult to perceive the wood and the rum, because the orange is always
the spices
powerful.
and the orange. I can still feel a bit of orange though.
Yeah,
like orange peel.
That actually comes from the cask, because there is no aroma added, and so it's I always like to taste it with people, because everyone feels their own aromas, their interpretation. But in that sense, I must say that you are right, because one thing that I like about the two is that despite the fact that the 6 is a spirit drink, and so it has some aromas, it has the sort of spice drink, and the 12 is a rum, you can still recognize that they are like distant cousins, because they are similar, they have similar ideas, but you can recognize their different personalities. And you can really feel that this is a rum. It has some hints of vanilla, and
exactly.
And it's I think it's a very interesting product, very round flavor.
And
sorry,
nutmeg too, I would say. Nutmeg and cinnamon a bit.
Yeah, and it also has a final note. Well, at least some people have perceived it, me as well, of licorice, really in the end.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
It's very interesting because it's quite exotic in a way, but at the same time, it's a rum, and so you're not going to to drink the sort of aromas or anything. And it's all rum, 12 years old rums. As you know, there is not a strict regulation of the aging of rum. You can put 12 years old on the label, even if there is young rum. We don't do that. We only have 12 years old aged rum.
Okay, it's the minimum.
Exactly. And we don't like to trick our clients. We want them to know what they're drinking. And I think it has a strong personality despite being only 12 years old, because you could expect this sort of personality and strength even from like a 15 years old or 18 years old. It's, if we compare it to some of our other brands, it is more similar to some 15 or 18 years old than to some younger rums. And so I think it has a very strong personality. The spices, you can feel some hint of spices, but not as strongly as in the 6. And as I said, it is a progression. We have the 6 that is the beginning level, and the 12, which is for those that have started to love rum, maybe thanks to the 6, and want to experience the fuller version of it. And to be fair, now we have just launched the 3 years old, which is only for the supermarkets. We like to separate our channel, because we know that the caviste don't like, rightfully so, to have the same products as the supermarkets.
Yeah, of course.
The supermarkets tend to have a slight advantage from economically speaking. And so we decided to develop only, if you want, I also have a bottle here, the 3 years old, which is aimed only at the great distribution. And it's, it's even sweeter than the 6 years old. It's a spirit drink once again. And it's, it's very easy to drink. You can see the white label with purple and red hints. And so the idea is exactly to have either the person beginning and discovering the brand in supermarkets with the 3, and then becoming curious and wanting to try something less sugary and going to the 6 and then the 12, or just straight up starting with the 6, which has had an enormous success, and then moving to the 12. So I think it's a very interesting product. And at the same time, here we have a recipe that was developed by our friends, bartender friends of ours, which is called Quack Remedy. And we served it in Barometer in Kiev, in November, at the end of November. And it was a great success. It's very sweet and refreshing, but it's done with the 12, which is not that aggressively sweet, not at all. And the idea with both the 6 and the 12 is that they are perfect to be served alone. You can drink them by themselves, because the 12 is like a meditation rum, is very good as a digestive or as something after a meal. And the 6 at the same time is perfect either as an aperitif or as with a dessert. It's like drinking a pastis or like a Don Pedro Ximénez with a dessert, because it's very sweet. But at the same time, we also developed some recipe for cocktails. This is a recipe for the 12 years old. But if you or your clients want to know more, they can go on our website, and we have more recipe for the 6 years old as well. And so the idea is always not to mix it with something too sweet, because otherwise it becomes a little too aggressive.
Of course.
Because the 6 is already quite sweet. But to have something more balanced, and I think it's a good pairing. And at the same time, we have, this is a bit some special formats for the 12 years old. We have on the left the Limoncello 12 years old special pack, which is actually this pack here that I have, which is metal box, very beautiful, launched last December. And it contains a bottle of the 12 years old, the beautiful metal case, and these oscillating glasses, which you cannot see, but do not stand still because they are round at the bottom.
Okay.
So, we wanted to do something different, and every time that we go to a fair and we put them on, on our stand, people say, "Oh, is it broken? Why is it dancing like that?" And we wanted something different because
it's fun.
It's original, and every Christmas, every brand has to invent something new, and very often you see some glasses that are beautiful, but are in the end the same glasses with some different shapes. And so we said, let's do something really different. Something
it's a glass that you can't put down.
Exactly, you have to continuously to drink, and I think it attracted a lot of attention, let's say. And finally, on the right, you have the Demon Share 12 years old special master case, which is a 50 centimeter tall metal tube, which contains, in the case of the 12 years old, 8 bottles with their own gift tubes, and it can be inside of it. There are 2 levels of 4 bottles each, and it can be used. I actually have one here of the 6 years old in my office, and I use it to sit. It can be used to decorate the shops, and I think it looks very nice both in the shops for the windows for shop and the fairs as well. And it's an interesting piece. It's used just as a master case. So when you order 8 bottles of the 12 years old, they come inside this pack here. And they are. I think it's very beautiful. It can be used as a POS material, or just as a sitting place for a bar. And so it's an interesting thing. We are always trying to develop some new materials and products that are a bit original. Amongst our POS materials, we also have some temporary tattoos that we do at fairs to clients. And when we were actually at the last Dugas Lab Expert, there was this interesting channel. We also have this interesting. You can see I have one here. These are our metal cans, which one of our demons on top of it.
Nice.
And you can use that to drink, to put your pencils in it. And we had this challenge with our customers that if one of them got a Demon Share tattoo done on their forehead, they would win 5 of them. And it was very funny because a lot of people did. And so you were looking at people going around the fair with our demon on top. And it's a very good marketing, Mostly the guy was surprised by it, but pleasantly so. So it's nice.
So it's kind of a fun way to
attract the attention. And so this is the end of the presentation. These are some of our demons. Of course, there's also all the narrative element of the brand, which is that these 7 demons that produce rum in Panama, each one with their own taste and love and profession. And it's an interesting and very creative way. We are developing it more and more. We are creating more of a universe around it because we know that it's important. And but for now, if you go to our Instagram page, you can see all of their adventures and pictures and updates. And it's it's very catchy. Apparently, it's going very well, and we can't really complain. We are also developing some new products. I can't spoil too much, but in theory, by the end of this year, we might have something new on the shelves.
Maybe in September at Dugas, maybe we could see something.
Maybe for the Christmas season.
Under the counter. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. If you drop by Dugas Lab Expert, I might be able to pour you something new.
Nice. So, and the Demon Share, what is it? What does it mean? Does it refer to the?
Actually, it's a bit of a. Sorry, I'm just trying to close the. Okay, I'll just visit it. It's actually a bit of a play on the Angel Share, because as you know, the Angel Share is a part of the alcohol that evaporates during the aging process, and it is said that is stolen by the angels. They take it to drink it themselves. And so for this reason, we decided to develop the rum as the Demon Share, because we thought that, if the angels drink and want something to drink, the demons would also want something to drink. And for that reason, they would craft their own rum in Panama. It's we like to be on the side of the devils in that sense. They are more fun.
Yeah, because I already heard this term once, and the Demon Share was as opposed to the Angel Share, which goes out of the barrel and into the cellar. The Demon Share was the part of the rum or of any spirit which is stuck, which stays into the wood.
Yeah, that's the actual explanation is that one. We decided to develop it in this sense because it was, of course, funnier. And the demonic theme is always catchy with people. We are also developing a bit the idea that to connect each of the demons to one of the capital sins. and to, you know, to create something like a test to see which is your demon or which is your sin. I think it's very funny, and I think it's working very well, and we are quite satisfied. And it's important to have both, you know, a good product and a good presentation. And I think that we managed to find a very good balance. At the moment, as I said, we are distributed in 18 countries, and we were launched like 2.5 years ago. So it's going quite well. I'm the export manager of the brand, so I do take a bit of the credit for it. But you know, it's easy to sell a good brand, so I'm lucky in that.
Well, very nice, very nice. Well, thanks a lot, Alessandro.
Thank you.
And merci beaucoup.
Je vous en prie. It was a real pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. And once again, if you need any information or anything, you can contact me or go on our website and you'll find everything you need.
Ok, very nice. Et pour ceux qui veulent retrouver le rhum Demon Share sur Rhum Attitude, on a plusieurs références disponibles, dont les coffrets avec les verres. Donc voilà, n'hésitez pas ensuite à vous rendre sur le site. Merci beaucoup, Alessandro.
Merci à vous et bonne journée. Au revoir.
À bientôt.
À la prochaine. Au revoir.
Au revoir.